and welcome. My name is Dustin, and in this video we're going to be talking all about this instrument right here, the piano accordion. Now you're probably wondering why this is not a saxophone. Well, the short answer for that is because this is one of my favorite instruments in the world besides the saxophone, and that is because it's so much fun to play. I can play a melody on my right side, and I can accompany myself on the left-hand side, and I move back and forth with the bellows. And it's just so much fun. I feel connected to the instrument while I'm playing. Plus, the music I play is a lot of fun too. So in this video, I'm going to be going over the parts of this instrument, going over a little bit on how it works, and then at the very end, I'll be going over a few different styles of music for you, playing those, and I hope you enjoy this instrument as much as I do by the end of this. All right, so let's get started. Now, the accordion comes in three main parts. We have this part here, which features a piano keyboard. That's called the treble side. We have the middle section here, which is called the bellows. That's the most iconic accordion part. And then we have the left side over here, which is controlled by the left hand, called the bass section, which provides the accompaniment. Now let's start with the right side, the treble side. Now, as I said, this side provides the melody. Now you'll notice that there's a piano keyboard here. That's why it's called a piano accordion. And this is exactly the same as a piano layout. It's just flipped up on its side. So the low notes are up here, and the high notes are down here. And it takes a little getting used to when it's reversed like that, but it doesn't take that long, all right? You'll get used to it. So this is exactly like the piano. So if you know how to play the piano, if you know where the notes are on a piano, you can play this side of the accordion pretty easily. Now you'll probably notice that there's a lot of switches here. There's actually 13 of them, and there's an extra one here that my palm hits, which you can't see. But my palm is also activating a switch over here. Now, what these switches do are change the sounds of this side of the accordion only. Now, in an accordion, there are called reeds, and reeds are thin little metal strips that vibrate when airs pass by them. Now, on the right side of the accordion, there are blocks in there that have lots of different reeds on them. And these blocks are tuned to different pitches. So they're tuned either low, middle, or high. Now, this side of the accordion that I have has 4 blocks of reeds. And so all these switches are combinations of those 4 blocks of reeds. Think of it as the stops on an organ. You pull a stop and it changes the banks of pipes that you use for the organ. Same with the synthesizer. If you press a button for a trumpet, then it's going to sound like a trumpet when you play the keyboard. Same thing with here, only you have a switch instead of a button or a pull stop. There are 2 reed blocks here that are tuned perfect, like a piano would be tuned. Okay, and then the other one is just an octave higher. And that's perfect. But there are also 2 other reeds that are intentionally out of tune. And that's what causes that classic accordion wavy sound or vibrato, or more appropriately on an accordion we call that musette. One reed block is tuned flat and the other tune is sharp. That's why we get this. And it sounds awful by itself, but when we put it together with other notes, you've got a really nice sound. All right, so basically that is the right side of the accordion, the treble side. All right? Now, let's skip the bellows for now. We'll come back to it later. Let's get to the bass section. Now, the bass section of the accordion looks complicated, and I don't want to lie to you, it is. If you look at the inside of the accordion here, if I were to take off this back plate, if you looked inside, it would make your head spin. It's so complicated inside there. But the layout of these buttons is not really that complicated. I know it looks like it is because all these buttons are the same, they have the same look to them. They're all the same shape, they're all the same color, and it's always moving. So I can't look over here all the time to see where my fingers are like I can with my right hand. So with the bass section, it's actually arranged in a pattern. And I'm just going to go over this briefly now. This could be another video if you're more interested in learning how to play this instrument. I could explain the bass side to you and give you close-ups and everything. But basically, we have two movements here on the bass section for these buttons. There's 120 of them. There's 6 rows. And basically we have two movements. We have this way, which is left and right, and we have up and down. And these two different movements correspond to two different things in music theory that you kind of have to know before you attack the bass section of the accordion, before you learn a little bit more about it. The first thing is the quality of the chord. So you have to know what major chords are, what minor chords are, what 7 chords are, and what diminished chords are. That's what this left and right motion is covering. That's what the quality of the chord is. And we'll go over that in just a second. Now, up and down, that's what key you're in. All right? And that follows the circle of fifths, which is the second thing that you have to know. The circle of fifths is a pattern in music. You probably can't see it from here, but there's a little dimple on this button here that tells me that that's the C column. All right? And now, everything in this column, up and down, is based in C. All right? And then if I go up one, we go up the circle of fifths. A fifth above it, we got G. So the next one up above C is G. Now the next one up above G is D, which is a fifth above that. Now, fifth above D is the next row, or the next column is A. And we have E, and then B, and then F sharp, and so on. Similarly, if we go down from C, we've got F, B flat, E flat, A flat, and so on. So it follows that circle of fifths pattern. Now, there's a reason for this, but we're going to get to that in a second. Remember how I said that left and right, we have the quality of the chords? Well, when we're in the key of C, the first 2 rows of the accordion here are its individual buttons. Those are individual buttons. Those are not chords. And that's if I want to play a scale like I just did, or if I want to do embellishment between 2 different chords. I can use that first 2 row pattern there, and I can go between chords. It sounds a lot better. The next one down, besides these 2 rows here, we have the major chord row. Below that, we have C minor, this minor chord row. Below that, we have C7, the 7 chord row. And then finally, the last row, we've got diminished. So everything in this column is based on C. We've got regular C without a chord, C major, C minor, C7, C diminished. All right, so that's easy enough, but why follow the circle of fifths when you're going up and down? Well, the reason for that is because in almost all folk music, which is what the accordion is really well known for playing, we have 3 main chords. Now, to avoid confusing you, let's just say we're in the key of C. Now, the three most common chords in folk music in the key of C are C, F, and G. Now, here, the C is here with its dimple. I know where a C is. F is right below it, and then G is right above it. So we have C, F, and G. They're really close to each other. They're actually next door neighbors. And I don't have to keep jumping around the accordion to get those keys. I can just go next door, and it's really, really simple. Also, if I'm doing the classic oom-pa-pa pattern, I can just go next door, C, G, C. And then I can add chords in between to make it even more interesting while still keeping that framework. And then if I want to transfer it to a different chord, I just move my fingers down one column and I got F. And then if I want to go back to C, I go up one more again. And then let's say I want to go up to G, but instead of G major, I want to do G7. And then let's finish things off with a C. So I go back down to C. So the span here between F, C, and G is barely, I'd say, even a little less than 2 inches. It's very, very close to each other. And that's so important in folk music. You can just weave your way around the 3 most common chords when they're so close together like that. And that's why that bass section is arranged like that. Now you'll probably notice on this bass section, we also have switches up here. We have 7 switches here, and I'm going to go through them as well. These are the same, these work the same way as they did on the right side, but these are just for the bass side this time. Remember how I said there's 4 banks of reeds on the right? There's 4 blocks. On the bass side, there's 5. So it's a little bit more of a full sound when you get all of them played together. And that's the bass section. So last but not least, we get to the middle section of the accordion, which is called the bellows. And as I said before, this is the most iconic part of the accordion. It's what makes this instrument. And it moves in and out. Without the bellows, I couldn't make any sounds at all. If I were to press these buttons without moving the rest of the accordion, it wouldn't sound like anything. Because to make those reeds vibrate, air needs to be passed through them. And the bellows is what does that. So when I pull or push the bellows, it puts air over those reeds that are opened with these keys, and that is what causes the sound. So we've come full circle to talking about the 3 parts of the accordion, and I hope you understand the accordion a little bit better now. I'm just going to play a few examples for you on this instrument, and I'm going to go over a few different genres, different styles, so you can see really the versatility of this instrument and why I love this instrument so much. Let's start with the polka. All right, so that's just a polka, and I'm already having a lot of fun. Okay, so now I'm going to try a waltz. And then for the final thing, I'd like to feature something that I associate as an iconic accordion sound. This is a French piece. All right. I hope you enjoy the accordion as much as I do. It's so much fun to play. So thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you thought, and we'll see you in the next one.